Vinícius Júnior, from a Favela's dirt pitch to Real Madrid's Galactico. Tony soft. Intimate, slightly melancholic. Music, quiet piano. Low volume. Imagine a boy with no shoes standing on a cracked patch of dirt, staring at a ball that is more tape than leather. Around him, the sound of gunshots is not unusual. Poverty is not a phase here. It is the only world he has ever known. This is São Gonçalo, a city on the outskirts of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And this is where the story of Vinícius Júnior begins. Pause for 2 seconds. Vinícius José Paixão de Oliveira Júnior was born on July 12, 2000. In a working-class neighborhood where opportunity was a word people rarely used. His father worked in construction. His mother cared for the family in a small house where money was always scarce. Like thousands of children in Brazil's favelas, Vinícius grew up surrounded by two things: danger and football. Tone shifts slightly, wistful. There was no proper stadium nearby, no clean grass field, no coaches with clipboards. There was only dirt, broken concrete, and a ball. But on that uneven ground, something extraordinary began to take shape. The boy moved differently. Where others saw obstacles, potholes, parked cars, older kids twice his size, Vinícius saw space. He danced through defenders before he even knew the word dribble. He fell constantly. He got up every time. Pause for 2 seconds. His family noticed it first. Neighbors noticed it next. Soon, people from all over São Gonçalo would gather just to watch a skinny boy with quick feet turn a broken street into a stage. But talent alone does not pay rent, and talent alone does not protect a child from the dangers of a neighborhood ruled by poverty and crime. Every day his parents feared what could happen if he was not given a way out. Tone shifts to hopeful. That way out arrived when Vinícius was just 11 years old. Flamengo, one of Brazil's most storied clubs, invited him to join their youth academy. For his family, this was not just an opportunity, it was survival. It was the difference between a life on the streets and a life with a future. Vinícius trained relentlessly, arriving before sunrise, leaving after dark, refusing to let a single session go to waste. Pause for 2 seconds. By the time he was a teenager, word had already begun to spread beyond Brazil's borders. Scouts whispered his name. Video clips of his dribbling circulated among European clubs. And in May 2017, at just 16 years old, Vinícius signed a contract with Real Madrid, one of the most valuable transfers in the history of Brazilian football, for a player who had not even made his senior debut yet. Tone, reflective, slightly tense, but signing a contract and succeeding on the world's biggest stage are two very different battles. When Vinícius finally arrived in Madrid in 2018, he was not the finished product the headlines promised. He was raw. He was inconsistent. Critics called him overhyped. Some said Real Madrid had wasted a fortune on a boy who could dribble but could not finish. Every mistake he made was magnified by a global audience that had already decided who he should be before he had the chance to become anyone. Pause for 2 seconds. And then came something far heavier than criticism. As Vinícius grew into a starting player, he also became a target. Racist chants echoed from stadium stands across Spain. Slurs were hurled at him during matches. Effigies representing him were hung near training grounds. For a young man barely into his 20s, thousands of miles from the streets that raised him, it would have been easy to break, easy to grow bitter, easy to fade quietly into anger. Tone shifts, determined. Instead, Vinícius did something remarkable. He spoke. He refused to stay silent about the abuse, using his growing platform to demand change, to demand accountability, to demand that football confront racism instead of ignoring it. And on the pitch, he answered every insult the only way he knew how, the way he had learned on the cracked streets of São Gonçalo. He played. He danced past defenders. He smiled through the pain. Pause for 2 seconds. Music swells slightly. The turning point came during the 2021-2022 season. Under new guidance and with growing maturity, Vinícius transformed from a promising talent into one of the most feared attackers on the planet. His dribbling became devastating. His finishing, once mocked, became clinical. Real Madrid fans who had once doubted him now sang his name from the stands of the Santiago Bernabeu. Tone, rising, triumphant. Then came the night that changed everything. May 28, 2022, Paris, France. The Champions League final, Real Madrid against Liverpool. In the 59th minute, a cross swept in from the right side of the pitch. Vinícius Júnior, the boy who once played barefoot on broken concrete, rose above the moment and struck the ball into the net. Real Madrid had won their 14th European Cup, and the boy from the Favela had scored the winning goal. He fell to his knees. Tears streamed down his face. This was not just a goal. This was a message to every child growing up in poverty, to every family fearing for their child's safety, to every boy who had ever been told his dream was too big for where he came from. Tone, warm, reflective. Vinícius never forgot Brazil. He never forgot São Gonçalo. He built a foundation to support underprivileged children, funding education and sports programs in the very neighborhoods that once offered him nothing but risk. He became not only a symbol of footballing brilliance, but a symbol of resilience against hatred, poverty, and doubt. Today, Vinícius Júnior stands among the finest players in the world, celebrated at the Santiago Bernabeu, admired across continents. But when he closes his eyes and remembers where his story truly began, he does not see a golden trophy or a roaring stadium. He sees a patch of broken dirt in São Gonçalo, and a barefoot boy who refused to stop dancing with the ball. Tone, slow, profound, final. Music fades gently. There is a lesson in Vinícius's story that reaches far beyond football. It is this: the place that raises you does not determine who you become. It becomes the fuel that carries you forward. The pain he faced, the poverty, the racism, the doubt, none of it defined him. He simply kept playing, kept moving forward, kept believing that his story was still being written. Because sometimes, the boy the world overlooks in the beginning becomes the man the world cannot stop watching in the end. Music fades to silence.